Hey everybody, and welcome to this special edition of the Bullring, our 2022 Short Track Award Show. I'm Alan Dietz, she's Jess Ballard, and this is the first time that we've been able to do this on Racing America because, well, last year there barely was a Racing America, and we've got a year under our belt now.
That's right, and I'm super excited for this. It's a little different than what this group has done in the past, but we're gonna cover some unique categories, and I'm ready.
Yeah, it looks like you and I are going out on a New Year's date with what we're wearing, right?
Yeah, and just for the folks at home, just so you know, Alan and I did not plan this. This was
totally
on accident. Yeah.
Yes. Well, if you're wondering what our awards are going to be, they're going to be the headline of the year, future star, the race or finish of the year, our legacy award, and the driver of the year. If you're wondering how all of this was determined, we decided to keep it easy. We let the experts of Racing America make nominations. Then we took those nominations, saw what the top vote getters were, and that's how we came up with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't need a board like we used to.
No, next year we will probably, sorry, Zach. Next year we'll probably do some type of, we'll probably do some sort of fan vote, which I would say would be along the lines of a Miss Congeniality award, right?
Ah, yes. I am all for this. Do you have to be a driver?
No.
Great.
We could vote for you. We could vote for one of the Hooters girls from the Snowball.
All
we could vote for that Moon Pie guy or whatever his name is. What is it? Moonhead or whoever. Personality of the year.
All right.
I could win it. Who's not more Mr. Personality than me?
No, that's true. You're going to give me a run for my money.
No, I won't.
But that's next year. So
yes, that's next year. So when we come back, we will begin with our headline of the year. And there's a lot of big headlines in 2022. We'll tell you what we thought was the biggest after this.
The 55th Annual Snowball Derby at Five Flags Speedway. It's the pavement every driver wants to race. 300 laps. Only one driver can take home the title. Don't miss your chance to watch history. Only on Racing America at racingamerica.com.
PFC Brakes has more championships than any other, and now they're on every champion's car as the official brake provider for the Camping World SRX Series. Remember, PFC Brakes. The secret is it's quicker.
SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel are your all-inclusive motorsports warehouses with more than 450 product lines. They have everything to put you in victory lane, from professional racing to street performance. SRI and Stock Car Steel have you covered with leading brands as well as a large selection of steel, aluminum, and plastics. With locations in North Carolina and Indiana, access has never been easier. SRI has the world's largest inventory of used parts. SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, your one-stop shops for everything racing.
Welcome to Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then Raceface Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today and use invite code RA1.
Hey, I'm Austin Dillon, and you're watching Racing America.
Welcome back to this special edition of the Bullring, our 2022 Short Track Awards. And as we said prior to the break, our first award will be for the headline of the year, as you see right there. How about that?
We got quite the setup.
We do have, I mean, between your coat and that, I mean, it's really something. Okay, you want to hear the nominees?
Yes.
Okay. So there's 4 nominees.
Okay.
As there are with most of the categories. First nominee is 2 national super late model tours announced this year for what is now the ASA Stars and the SRL National.
Because we've been waiting on that for a long time.
We have.
Yeah.
Racetrack Revival at North Wilkesboro Speedway, which we didn't even know about until April, and then all of that stuff came along. That ties into our next headline. Dale Earnhardt Jr. races as late model again. North Wilkesboro, not as big a surprise as Florence ended up being, but he ended up doing 2 late model stock races this year. And Derek Thorne finally wins the Snowball Derby. So, Jess, if you will take envelope number 1.
All right.
Yes, and tell us who our winner is.
All right. I hope I don't do the thing that Steve Harvey did at Miss
You won't,
America.
because you have no other option other than the winner.
All right. Drum roll, please.
And the winner is...
Racetrack Revival at North Wilkesboro.
Wow, who knew? Did you?
No.
All right, well, that's good.
But I think that is a great one. That's one for the history books.
It is one for the history books, and a big part of the Racetrack Revival at North Wilkesboro Speedway was, of course, the Cars Late Model Stock Race, which we mentioned Dale Earnhardt Jr. was a part of. Joining us now from the Cars Tour is Keely Dubinsky. And Keely, from not even knowing you the first time we interviewed you a few months ago to now, we have come a long way since before North Wilkesboro to North Wilkesboro and beyond. First off, just tell me about when Cars first became involved with this.
Well, this whole racetrack revival thing that we put on honestly came about just a couple of months before we went to the revival. So we kind of had to get in gear and throw this huge event that probably could have taken over a year of planning together. And
It probably should have
somehow-
taken a year of planning, right?
Yes, for sure. But somehow we went out with a bang, and it turned out better than we could have ever expected.
And just before you ask your question, for people that don't know Keely very well, and again, we've got to know each other here over the last several months. Keely is a crier, and she was definitely crying at North Wilkesboro.
Well, I would have been too. So for those of you, we'll get into this. Keely, why don't you tell us what your role is with the Cars Tour and what your role was at this event? Because first of all, congratulations. And second of all, it was just so important to the whole racing community to see this event come together and to have a young woman play such a huge role in it. It was so inspiring for so many people. So I want to say, first of all, congratulations, and tell us a little bit about what your role was in all of this.
Well, thank you. So I am the director of operations for the Cars Tour, so that I oversee all of the day-to-day, and I'm kind of in charge of coming up with new ideas, taking us new places, implementing just new ideas all the time. So I got to work firsthand with XR events with Barry Braun. I got to work with Junior Motorsports and Dale, and really just kind of be that piece in between everybody to bring us all together. So it was, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you could say I was right in the middle of the puzzle.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Barry Braun, because it was XR Events and Speedway Motorsports that took this idea from when Dale Earnhardt Jr. actually cleaned the racetrack during the pandemic. And now, the All-Star race is going to be there next year. I went to the last Cup race there in 1996, which I'm sure neither one of you were born.
Well, that was the year I was born.
I was born.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. But one thing that I tried to do, and I thought I could see you trying to do it too. It was hard when you've got 20,000 people there and people back up down the road and all this kind of stuff. But I tried to be in the moment. And I told somebody after the race, I said, you will never, ever see anything like this again. Even Florence in November, as great as it was, you'll never see a racetrack a shuttered racetrack like that, put 20,000 people in it, and have an event like that? What now that you've had some time to reflect, what do you take from that night?
I think the most important thing is that we didn't just revive the track, we revived short track racing as a whole. And so we definitely picked up some new fans, even some, old NASCAR fans that didn't really even know what the Cars Tour was. And we're seeing an extreme amount of people who are now coming to our events, and they'll come up to me and say, hey, we came to the revival, so now we're coming out to support. So I think that's the coolest part. But looking up and seeing all of those people and being able to put our series on that kind of platform, that whole next level, was a win for everybody, every series in short track racing.
And I know you guys have released your schedule, the Cars Tour for 2023. It's a huge schedule. You got more races on there, I think, than you've ever had before. And something tells me that Cars will probably be involved in the headline of the year in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be fair to say, Keely, you think?
I think so. We, this year was huge for us, but next year is going to be even bigger. We have a couple different things up our sleeve that we are so excited to share here soon.
Well, please make sure to share it with us here at Racing America. I appreciate you joining us, Keely. Just so impressed by the effort that everybody put in, yourself and Cars and XR and Speedway Motorsports, Dale Jr. are part of it here too at Racing America. We wish you the best, happy holidays, and really looking forward to what you guys are cooking up.
Well, thank you guys. Happy holidays to you.
All right, that's Keely Dubinsky with the Cars Tour, accepting the Headline of the Year award for the Racetrack Revival. When we come back, we are going to see who we think the future star is going to be in our Short Track Awards continue.
What creates a winning combination? Quality, focus, discipline, and most importantly, speed. At Pepperjack Kennels, we provide exceptional water and land training services for hardworking retrievers. From leading in the field to leading on the track, together we establish winning dogs and a winning team. Devoted to retrievers and motorsports, we are Pepperjack Kennels. Visit us online to learn more.
5-star bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market, aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials, tested tough for optimum performance. The highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-star.
Celebrate the new year at Dillon Motor Speedway. Saturday and Sunday, January 7th and 8th. It's the 13th annual New Year's Bash. Street stock racers from across the country lead the best in grassroots racing to compete for big money and try to tame the toughest short track in the Carolinas. It's the 13th annual New Year's Bash at Dillon Motor Speedway, January 7th and 8th. And you can watch it all only on Racing America.
I'd say probably one of the biggest that had the biggest influence on me, short track racing and early in my career, is Mike McLaughlin. Old Magic Shoes. He was the one that taught me a lot about racing and how to prepare for races, probably more than anything, mentally and communicating to your race team, those things that I didn't know how to do and wasn't very good at to start. I think Mike helped me a lot with that.
Welcome back to our inaugural Short Track Awards here on Racing America. We've given away one award, the Headline of the Year for the Racetrack Revival at North Wilkesboro. What did we say we're doing now?
The Future Star.
The Future Star, and here are our nominees.
Wait, so Future Star meaning, or is this like a Rookie of the Year?
Sort of. I mean, it's not that these folks haven't been racing some, but but starting to break out, and
All
we
right.
think they're really going to break out. So our nominees are Gio Ruggiero, Katie Hedinger, William Sawalich, and Paulie Hartwig III. If you'll remember, he won one of the crate modified races at North Wilkesboro. Jess, the envelope, please.
All right. The Short Track Awards Future Star is. Did you have to seal these?
Yeah, I did it with my spit.
William Sawalich.
William Sawalich is the winner, and joining us now is our future star car owner. This Donnie's kind of in the same boat I am. We're not necessarily future stars, but Donnie has
Stars
certainly
nonetheless.
Yes, and Donnie is what?
How about a future star of the over 50 group?
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
That's for later.
Yes.
That'd be pretty.
Yes, I can go with that. So Donnie, it's funny. A couple of our nominees here, Gio Ruggiero, he drove for you at the Snowball because William Sawalich couldn't because of that concussion he got at Nashville. But before we go into young drivers as a group, tell me about this year with William. Did it surprise you how much success he had, particularly in the super late model, or did you feel like this was what he needed to do?
Well, first and foremost, you know, I didn't think, you know, he would won as many races as he did. He won in 2021 with us in the pro car, and you know, we ran him in the super this year. You know, started off kind of slow, and you know, I don't know what it was about mid-April. He just kind of the light bulb went off, and I mean, he went on a tear. Whether it was a Setzer's Pro Late model or super, I mean, just winning and running top 3 everywhere he went. You know, and besides that, he's a great young man, and he's got a bright future for sure. And I'm just blessed that he was able to run with us this year.
And you know, Jess, he just recently signed that ARCA contract with Joe Gibbs Racing, just to give you an idea what Toyota and Joe Gibbs see in him.
Right. And I want to say, first of all, congratulations, Donnie, to the success that Donnie Wilson Racing has had this year. And like you mentioned, Alan, you know, Williams moving on up, that we love to see that. Donnie, what skill sets does a driver like William have that set him apart from maybe others that make him a future star?
I haven't seen a kid with his talent that young in a long time. You know, he just is cool, calm, and collective. Nothing seems to rattle him. And I think that's kind of one of the great things that, you know, at the end of the races, you always kind of see him up there fighting for wins. You know, nothing seems to rattle the kid, you know. And I mean, and his feedback and what he wants in a car has come a long ways over this year. And I think that's an attribute to him racing as much as he does, you know. So he's definitely growing leaps and bounds on that aspect. So I look forward to him improving even more, obviously, in the ARCA car at Gibbs and whatever races he does next year on other things.
Now, I know these drivers are in well-prepared cars. I mean, whether it was Chandler Smith or William Byron or Sammy Smith, whoever it was, people were going out there and winning in your cars. How much input can a young driver like this have in the setup? I mean, is it one of those things where they can get in it and just go out there fast, or do they have to figure out ways to tweak it and make it better?
I think they have to find ways to tweak it to make it their driving style, you know, and I think that's where, first and foremost, we have a group of guys that I'm very fortunate to have work for me and are knowledgeable and work hard at it every day to get where our performances have been. So I think it's a 50-50 deal, you know. It's more on our part to make sure that we provide the driver with a great car and get it where he likes it or what he's looking for, you know. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing.
The last couple of years have been exceptional for Donnie Wilson Motorsports. We saw Gio Ruggiero bring his sponsor and get in your car at the Snowball Derby. Not to necessarily get in too much detail unless you want to. I've got to think that you guys feel confident with where your team is and going into 2023.
Yeah, we feel really good about 2023. I look at 2021, we won 8 races. 2022, this year was a great year. We won 16 races. I mean, that's never thought that was going to be possible. We didn't win the last 3 big races, but, Sammy got second at Winchester. William got third. We had 3 in the top 6 at the Derby, second, fifth, and sixth. So, you can't complain about that. I've always said, if you're in the top 5 with 20 to go, you always got a chance to win. So that's the biggest thing in my head that we always look at as a team. Nashville was good. We just didn't work out, obviously, the wreck at the end, So, as far as next year, 2023, I can't really say what all we have going on right now. I'm pretty sure we will soon. But I'm really excited with the group of drivers we have for 2023 coming back, and new ones. And the good thing is they're all mostly younger, and they're looking for wins, and that's what we look for. And they're ready to get after it.
Well, Donnie, I appreciate you taking a few minutes out for us today. I'm sure we'll see a lot of you here on Racing America in 2023. Hope you have a good Christmas, and we'll be talking to you again soon.
You guys too. I appreciate y'all having me. Happy holidays to everyone out there.
All right, that's Donnie Wilson, the car owner for our future star William Sawalich. When we come back, we are going to tell you what the race of the year was as far as we're concerned. That'll be when we come back here on Short Track Awards.
Speedfest returns to Chris Motorsports Park at Watermelon Capital Speedway Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th. See the super late models, pro late models, outlaws, legends, and bandoleros. Speedfest has practice and qualifying Friday, while all of the feature action is Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. For discounted tickets and info, check out trackenterprises.com and chrismotorsportspark.com. It's Speedfest 2023 at Watermelon Capital Speedway Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th.
Communication is key in the racing world. When it comes to at-the-track communications, there is only one place to call. Racing Electronics is the #1 source for professional race communications worldwide. Over 20 years in the business proves their dedication to the sport. With every driver and crew communication, two-way radios and headsets, scanners and more, Racing Electronics is a one-stop communication source for all your motorsports needs. Before the green flag flies, make sure you have all your team communication gear from Racing Electronics. Stop by and see a Racing Electronics representative at the track near you. Visit their showroom in Concord, North Carolina, or order online at racingelectronics.com.
It's race time on Short Track America.
Dirt or pavement, from east to west. Short Track America features some of the biggest grassroots races around the country. Super late models to street stock racing. If it's on a half-mile or smaller track, it's on Short Track America. On MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel are your all-inclusive motorsports warehouses with more than 450 product lines. They have everything to put you in victory lane, from professional racing to street performance. SRI and Stock Car Steel have you covered with leading brands as well as a large selection of steel, aluminum, and plastics. With locations in North Carolina and Indiana, access has never been easier. SRI has the world's largest inventory of used parts. SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, your one-stop shops for everything racing.
Hi, I'm Jake Garcia, and you're watching Racing America.
Glad to have you back with us here on the Short Track Awards here on Racing America. I'm Alan Dietz, and the very brightly jacketed Jess Ballard alongside. And Jess, this is a pretty big honor, I think, coming up next, our race or finish of the year. And incidentally, these races just all happen to be on Racing America. I'm not sure how that worked out.
Oh, of course.
Other than we just get the best events.
But
so
we stream so many events. Like
Yes.
this is a huge category, and to narrow it down to even the ones that you're about to read off is crazy, because there's a lot of great racing on Racing America.
yeah, and on the other streams too. But these were better. So let's start with our first nominee, the American Canadian Tour late models at White Mountain for their fall foliage weekend. Cars, late model stock cars at North Wilkesboro Speedway. The Slinger Nationals up in Wisconsin. And finally, the past super late models for the Oxford 250 in Maine. And Jess, what is the winner?
Okay, the winner of the best race or finish in the short track awards, ACT Fall Foliage at White Mountain.
All right, and joining us now, the series director for the American Canadian Tour, Chris Michaud. And Chris, are you staying warm up there?
Yeah, we're trying to. It's a little chilly today, but the sun's out. I guess we don't have the best of both worlds, but we'll take one or the other.
Now, how warm is it today? We'll at least put a good spin on it.
It is. It's a balmy 19.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Too bad it's not Celsius. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Chris, tell me about this race at White Mountain. One of our electors actually said any race at White Mountain, but this one just happened to come down to Patrick LaPearl, DJ Shaw, Tom Carey, all in the mix throughout that race, and then this finish.
You know, it really did. You know, White Mountain has been putting on some terrific races, you know, especially in the ACT Tour and the White Mountain Late Models Weekly. It's just a very, very racy track, and it's something that we're proud of, and we have some great racers. You know, this race in particular, it was side by side the whole thing. Quinny Welch led a bunch of the race, and then had a fuel problem. And then DJ and Patrick got up there, and Tommy Carey. They were all running nose to tail and passing each other and side by side racing. And you know, it came down to the end, and you know, DJ made his move. Patrick, I think he was about 90 degrees to the infield there, and was doing his best. And then Tom Carey and Brian Wall Jr. snuck in there, and they tried to steal it. And you know, unfortunately for Tommy, he ended up in the wall. And then Patrick came across the line first with DJ second, and the young Wall kid came in third.
In terms of what makes a good race, you know, different strokes for different folks. Some people like to see carnage and wrecks and wrecked race cars in action. Some people like to see a close finish, and like we saw in this finish, you had both. But in your opinion, Chris, what makes a good product, a good on-track product? What makes a race a good race?
You know, and you know, a lot of times it's all up to the racers. You know, especially with the veterans that race each other with respect. We really enjoy a good side-by-side race. You know, if somebody has the guts to get to the outside of you and race you and trying to pass you on the outside, you know, you don't run them up. If you get behind a guy, you don't do the bump and run. And then when you get down to it, you know, like DJ and Patrick and Tommy, they're all veterans. They all race with a ton of respect, but when it's time to take off the gloves, you know, they do it and they take off the gloves, but they don't whack each other in the bumper and move them out of the way. You know, they'll go for it, and they'll be door to door, and whoever gets to the finish line first wins.
I know you got a lot to look forward to this coming year. Of course, full programs at White Mountain and in Thunder Road, the American Canadian Tour, which has been so strong the last number of years, along with PASS and the partnership that you guys have sort of formed up in New England. But how excited, and it's kind of ironic that we're talking about Patrick LaPearl, are you to be able to get back to Quebec and get a series going back there again?
You know, that's something that I've wanted to do since we took over ACT. It's something that Tom Curley put together years ago, and then it kind of faded away, and then definitely with COVID, it went away. But then last year, when we were able to cross the border, we had so much support from the Canadian drivers and the Canadian fans. You know, a lot of times at Thunder Road or White Mountains, I think there's more Canadian fans in the stands than U.S. So it was huge for us to be able to go back up there, support them, start an ACT Quebec series, and you know, so they'll have their own championship up there, and then we'll get a few of them down here to race, and then hopefully someday we can have ACT Quebec, ACT US, and then maybe a combo championship back, down the road.
Well, it's very exciting, and if you want to see some great racing, the American Canadian Tour, go to racingonamerica.tv and watch some of those races on demand. Just also so you know, Chris, the ACT race at White Mountain, the Midsummer Classic, that should be coming on MAV TV on Short Track America in January, and we'll give you the air dates for that. But Chris, just really enjoyed these races this year, and you letting us be a part of it.
No, we really enjoyed your coverage, and we're honored that you folks think that much of us, that you want to broadcast our races, and your crew is top notch, and we really enjoyed working with them.
Well, we appreciate it, Chris. Have a good Christmas, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
All right, that's Chris Machado with the American Canadian Tour. When we come back, our Legacy Award. That's a pretty big deal. We'll award it whenever we come back.
SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel are your all-inclusive motorsports warehouses with more than 450 product lines. They have everything to put you in victory lane, from professional racing to street performance. SRI and Stock Car Steel have you covered with leading brands, as well as a large selection of steel, aluminum, and plastics. With locations in North Carolina and Indiana, access has never been easier. SRI has the world's largest inventory of used parts. SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, your one-stop shops for everything racing.
Welcome to Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then Raceface Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today and use invite code RA1.
Welcome to the new home for race fans, Racing America. Live short track racing. Exclusive team content.
Any NASCAR fan is really a short track fan at heart.
Behind the scenes access. From grassroots to NASCAR, join us at the home for race fans everywhere. Racing America, it's in our DNA.
Rhino Classifieds is an online classifieds platform built for racers and race fans. Rhino makes finding parts, trailers, and specialty vehicles easy. Posting is free. Signing up is free. That's a lot of free. So jump in and join the most streamlined motorsports-focused classifieds out there at rhino.co. That's RYNO.co.
Well, we're glad to have you back here with us on our Short Track Awards. And, before we went to break, we told you about the Legacy Award, but we didn't tell you it goes to Zach Evans. Congratulations, Zach.
I'd like to thank the Academy and And whoever came up with this cruel joke?
Well, actually, it's not Zach Evans, but the winner is a very deserving person. We had several nominations. I don't want to get into these nominations necessarily because all of them deserve it. This year, it just coincidentally happened to really. I think the driver that won it deserved it. If you could read the winner.
You just said everyone deserved it.
Well, they do, but this one really deserved it for this year.
Okay, that's good. That makes sense because this is a really broad category.
It really is.
So, all right, here we go. The Legacy Award. Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., and we are very happy that Dale actually recorded an acceptance for us on this, and here's what he had to say.
Hey everybody, it's Dale Jr. Thanks for the recognition and the nod. I appreciate it. I've had a lot of fun spending more time at the short tracks here in the past year or two. Let's keep the momentum going. There's a lot of great things happening in the short track ranks, so let's keep helping these racetracks, the drivers, the team owners, everybody in the industry succeed. It's a ton of fun when we do.
And we appreciate Dale Jr. taking a few minutes out of his holiday to share that message with us. Zach, as I said, had this been awarded last year, I don't think Dale Earnhardt Jr. would have even been nominated. Not that he is not giving back to the short tracks through his late model stock program and everything, but this year it was kind of a no-brainer.
This year, especially in our world, became so much about, like you say, the way he gave back. Starting, of course, with Racetrack Revival. Obviously, we talked about that already.
He really sort of started it.
That started with him getting the idea, let's get some people together, weed eat this place so we can scan it for iRacing.
Mm-hmm.
It started from such a small, microscopic organism of a concept.
So you could iRace on it.
Correct.
So you inadvertently do get the Legacy Award.
No, that's not how that works, but I appreciate your trying. But yeah, to go from that to bringing race cars back to North Wilkesboro, which for so long felt like an impossibility, a fever dream. You know, like for me personally, I thought I would never get to see a race at North Wilkesboro. And then we had a month of racing there, and the All-Star race is going there
which
next
I don't
year.
think anybody could have. I mean, the Racetrack Revival exceeded expectations clearly, but I don't think we could have ever imagined. We said, well, maybe they'll get a truck or a Xfinity race here, but not the All-Star race less than a year later.
I mean, it's got to be a whole week of racing. We're looking at this, now the Stars National Tour is part of that week. We already had the Cars tours being a part of that, the Truck Series and the All-Star race. Just everything that has happened to make North Wilkesboro Speedway a reality again in 2022 going into 2023 is unbelievable. And obviously he was a huge part of that this year as well with racing at North Wilkesboro and all the, how many people they packed into North Wilkesboro to watch him race, and then the same thing at Florence to end the year.
Yeah, the Legacy Award, kind of being like a Hall of Fame type award. He's been part of 2 awards that we've gone over so far with the Best Race. He was part of one of the nominations, and the Headline of the Year. So, I mean, he had his hands in so many different things this season that had such a positive impact on short track racing, and he showed up himself to these events and really got his hands dirty. And so I agree that, this year he just played such a huge role in so many different things.
And do you think it's fair, Zach, to say, again, I don't want to speak for Dale Earnhardt Jr., but I am. I think Myrtle Beach going away, and they did a Lost Speedways episode there, affected him maybe more than he realized it would. And he saw that, obviously, trying to bring North Wilkesboro back. But I think that Florence going to run that race was his way of saying, you know what, thank you, Steve Zacharias. Thank you for the people that kept Myrtle Beach going on as long as it has. And now thank you for what you're doing for Florence and this, what was the Myrtle Beach 250. And I think that was his way to try to give back and not let Florence have the same fate.
I'm sure there's a part of that as well, but also a part of it is, and Junior has talked about a lot, that Florence was one of those tracks that he ran a lot when he was running late model stock cars, when he was first getting into racing. And the memories he has there. I'm sure part of it was just he talked about after the race at North Wilkesboro, how much he wanted to just show up at Florence on a Saturday night with the trailer and unload the car like the old days. It's hard for him to do that now because he's Dale Earnhardt Jr. But to be able to have that chance to go back to Florence and be a part of the race in November, I know meant a lot to him, and I'm sure it meant a lot to a lot of the people who probably in those grandstands. There were probably people who watched him when he was, the up and coming late model driver, and got the chance to watch him all these years later as a NASCAR Hall of Famer too.
Well, although I was not able to go to Florence this year, I was one of those people that watched him win at Florence, and I watched him race at Myrtle Beach, but I never, I wasn't there on the nights that he ended up winning. So Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be our Legacy Award winner. When we come back, Zach's going to stick around, and we are going to introduce you to our Driver of the Year nominees.
Welcome to Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then Raceface Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today and use invite code RA1.
PB Blaster busts the toughest rust anywhere it's found.
That's what I'm talking about.
Penetrate tough rust with complete control.
That's right, baby.
PB Blaster. Don't bust your knuckles, bust your nuts.
Get some.
Get up on your feet, race fans.
Celebrate the new year at Dillon Motor Speedway. Saturday and Sunday, January 7th and 8th. It's the 13th annual New Year's Bash. Street stock racers from across the country lead the best in grassroots racing to compete for big money and try to tame the toughest short track in the Carolinas. It's the 13th annual New Year's Bash at Dillon Motor Speedway, January 7th and 8th. And you can watch it all only on Racing America.
Well, as we said, we are going to announce our Driver of the Year nominees now while Zach is still here with us. And we'll go with them in the order that we've got them. And if you just, in a nutshell, let us know why you think they could be Driver of the Year, we'll start with Derek Thorne.
And Derek Thorne, the big one is the bow at the end of the year, no pun intended, the Snowball Derby. Didn't run a ton of races this year, but pretty much every time he did race, he was fast, he was in contention to win, picked up a couple of wins throughout the year, and obviously finally got through with the Snowball Derby win to close out the year.
Lane Riggs.
Lane Riggs, the big one for Lane, of course, the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series national champion, all the wins and effort that go along with that. That's going to be the big highlight of 2022 for Lane Riggs. Of course, we also got to see him a couple of times in the truck series with the Helmar Friesen group. Had some strong runs there too. Not as much our focus with what we're doing here with these awards, but definitely cool to see as well as a reward for his efforts this year.
Matt Hirschman.
Gosh, just incredible season in the modified ranks this year. Went to it seemed like every week he was at a different track, and oh, by the way, he was winning there also. Just, you know, in one of the true all-time greats in modified, we can say that without any question now, and years like this year are why.
Jonathan Davenport, our final nominee.
Jonathan Davenport, again, another. I mean, no real surprise to our dirt late model fans out there. Another incredible year for him. So many wins, so much money
Over
he won
$2 million this year.
Just stupid amounts of money he won this year. And sure, that could open a whole conversation. We won't go into that. This is an award show about the difference between dirt late models and pavement late models.
That'll take all day.
That's a whole nother show. But point is, he had to run well enough to win all that money, and he did that.
When we come back, we're going to introduce you to the driver of the year.
Welcome to the new home for race fans, Racing America. Live short track racing. Exclusive team content.
I bet, that's what they all say. Any NASCAR fan is really a short track fan at heart.
Behind the scenes access. From grassroots to NASCAR, join us at the home for race fans everywhere. Racing America, it's in our DNA.
SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel are your all-inclusive motorsports warehouses with more than 450 product lines. They have everything to put you in victory lane, from professional racing to street performance. SRI and Stock Car Steel have you covered with leading brands as well as a large selection of steel, aluminum, and plastics. With locations in North Carolina and Indiana, access has never been easier. SRI has the world's largest inventory of used parts. SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, your one-stop shops for everything racing.
Speedfest returns to Chris Motorsports Park at Watermelon Capital Speedway Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th. See the super late models, pro late models, outlaws, legends, and bandoleros. Speedfest has practice and qualifying Friday, while all of the feature action is Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. For discounted tickets and info, check out trackenterprises.com and chrismotorsportspark.com. It's Speedfest 2023 at Watermelon Capital Speedway, Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th.
Cirque Motorsport has been providing industry-leading cleaning and analysis for heat exchangers for over 15 years. Now that same technology is here in the U.S., tailored to your specific competitive needs for every racing market.
The only 100% certain way to know that your cooler is clean.
Go to CirqueMotorsport.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more details on how we can help you gain Cirque speed.
As we promised, our final award is going to be our 2022 Driver of the Year award. Our nominees, and I misplaced it, but I remember who they are: Jonathan Davenport, Derek Thorne, Lane Riggs, and Matt Hirschman. Jess?
Well, I didn't misplace the last note card of the night.
Thankfully.
Yep, let's do this. The 2022 Driver of the Year award, Matt Hirschman.
Well, Matt Hirschman is joining us by phone now. And, Matt, I couldn't be completely honest with you, but it is a year in review show. So congratulations on being the Driver of the Year. A lot of worthy nominees, but another unbelievable year for you in the Tour Type Modified ranks. Congratulations, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's quite an honor. Thanks for having me.
I know there's got to be a lot of different moments that stick out for you about this 2022 season. When you look back, I think I know the answer, but we'll see if I'm right. What do you think 10, 15 years down the road you'll remember about this year?
Well, I'm from start to finish, it had big moments and big wins in it. If I have to say what the biggest was, if I have to pick just one, I would say the Spring Sizzler, being the 50th anniversary, and an all new format, and had a lot of build up, and it delivered. And also, earned the opportunity to compete with the SRX. So if I had to say just one, it would be that. But it was really from start to finish. There was some big moments, some big wins, and it started with the Wheel and Tour opener at New Smyrna, which was a first-time sold-out event, and just continued, obviously, with the Spring Sizzler in the spring, other big wins in the summer, and one of those highlights is certainly the revival of North Wilkesboro. That was really a neat experience, and to get to take the elevator ride up on the second night. We didn't get it done on the first night, but the second night we got to go up on the roof for that. That was probably the highlight of the summer, and we just finished it up with big wins in November with the North-South Shootout and the Turkey Derby, which is always special to close the year like that. So I think I'll remember it most for the complete season it was start to finish, but if I had to pick one, it would be the Spring Sizzler.
Matt, congratulations. And Driver of the Year is kind of a broad award. And at this level of racing, so many things have to go right to pull off a win. But if you could pick one thing to attribute your success this year to, what would it be?
Well, it certainly takes a team effort. That would not be possible, and we did this with multiple cars and teams, so to speak, being the PD Motorsports 60, which, got big wins on the Wheel and Tour, Smart Tour, and the North-South Shootout, and then my own 60 program here got, big wins in the Spring Sizzler, and with the Tri-Track and Race of Champions and local stuff here in Pennsylvania. So it's a total team effort. Just wouldn't be possible without everyone's help and support of the sponsors, and that's all makes this possible.
Nobody in tool type modified racing, I think, competes in as many different tours and disciplines of tool type modified racing as you do, and I think it's seems like every year or two we try to ask this question and gauge it, but overall, where is tool type modified racing at heading into 2023?
It's heading in the right direction. I'll tell you. I'll say that much. This division as a whole is in a much better place than it was 10 years ago, and even as recent as 5 years ago. And I see it only building in a positive direction. And, some of the things we've already highlighted, in talking about this, some of our highlights for the season, look at the car count for the Spring Sizzler and what that open format what that was, and look at the revival of North Wilkesboro and the the support and the fan turnout for that, and just the payouts are getting better. I've seen some, well, even for example, the Spring Sizzler was a record payout for me at the time, to winning that race, and I see there's talk and I see potential of bigger things coming down the road, which, on the dirt side, there's more money and larger crowds and more, support. But I think the asphalt side is going in the right direction. I think we're gaining ground. And I think some of the things, the numbers that you're seeing on the dirt side, I'm hoping that we can close that gap and see some more growth, like they're experiencing.
Well, Matt, congratulations. It seems like every year we don't think the year can get better than the one prior, and you keep upping the mark. It's been a great 2022, and we look forward to watching you again get started in the not-so-distant future in 2023.
Sure, it comes quick. That's one thing about racing today is the season is much longer and the off season is very short. Really, just 2 months of not racing in December and January. But I really look forward to starting the season in Florida at New Smyrna. It's one of the the highlights of the year for me, and something we got to do last year was compete with the Smart Tour and go to some different venues. So I'll be looking forward to their schedule and see what we can do in March with that group, and then we'll be back to our regular schedule starting in the Northeast in April. So really appreciate it. To win an award like this, it means you had a complete season from start to finish, and next to a Hall of Fame type recognition, a Driver of the Year award is about as close as you can get to that. So I really appreciate it, and thank you for all that you guys do for covering the sport, and we can continue to grow this together.
Thanks again, Matt. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, we'll wrap up this year's award show.
Celebrate the new year at Dillon Motor Speedway. Saturday and Sunday, January 7th and 8th. It's the 13th annual New Year's Bash. Street stock racers from across the country lead the best in grassroots racing to compete for big money and try to tame the toughest short track in the Carolinas. It's the 13th annual New Year's Bash at Dillon Motor Speedway, January 7th and 8th. And you can watch it all only on Racing America.
Communication is key in the racing world. When it comes to at-the-track communications, there is only one place to call. Racing Electronics is the #1 source for professional race communications worldwide. Over 20 years in the business proves their dedication to the sport. With every driver and crew communication, two-way radios and headsets, scanners and more, Racing Electronics is a one-stop communication source for all your motorsports needs. Before the green flag flies, make sure you have all your team communication gear from Racing Electronics. Stop by and see a Racing Electronics representative at the track near you. Visit their showroom in Concord, North Carolina, or order online at racingelectronics.com.
Hooters and racing go together like killer wings and ice-cold beer. Racing has been at the core of Hooters' DNA from the beginning. Whether it's backing the best drivers or serving up the best food on race day, race fans know Hooters is the real deal. Big screens, great food, good times. Hooters, the official home of race fans.
Well, Jess, on our regular season bull rings, we said farewell last week. We said hello again today.
Yeah.
And we say farewell again on this award show. Very, very interesting to see how it shook out from our nominees to our winners.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. It's totally different from what the short track draft we've done in the past, but I like it because we're kind of covering a wider array, thank you, of people, and a bunch of different awards, and I really enjoyed this.
And I think we got a lot to build on here with our short track awards going into 2023. We hope you enjoy your holidays, folks. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. Remember, we'll be back with our regular Bull Ring show starting on January 3rd, and our first broadcast will be that same weekend, coming up at Dillon Motor Speedway for the New Year's Bash. So congratulations to all our winners. Thank you to Jess Ballard. I'm Alan Dietz. We'll see you next year.
Speedfest returns to Chris Motorsports Park and Watermelon Capital Speedway Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th. See the super late models, pro late models, outlaws, legends, and bandoleros. Speedfest has practice and qualifying Friday, while all of the feature action is Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. For discounted tickets and info, check out trackenterprises.com and chrismotorsportspark.com. It's Speedfest 2023 at Watermelon Capital Speedway, Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th.
SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel are your all-inclusive motorsports warehouses with more than 450 product lines. They have everything to put you in victory lane, from professional racing to street performance. SRI and Stock Car Steel have you covered with leading brands as well as a large selection of steel, aluminum, and plastics. With locations in North Carolina and Indiana, access has never been easier. SRI has the world's largest inventory of used parts. SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, your one-stop shops for everything racing.
Get up on your feet, race fans.
Can you believe it? Right now, racing, in my opinion, is as healthy as it's been in the last 15 to 20 years.
Just wanting to make that first lap.
Celebrate the new year at Dillon Motor Speedway. Saturday and Sunday, January 7th and 8th. It's the 13th annual New Year's Bash. Street stock racers from across the country lead the best in grassroots racing to compete for big money and try to tame the toughest short track in the Carolinas. It's the 13th annual New Year's Bash at Dillon Motor Speedway, January 7th and 8th. And you can watch it all only on Racing America.